Like most things in 2026, AI is ruining everything. And the crafting community is slowly being taken over by awful AI generated content and fake bot accounts trying to scam old people into giving them their details. I wanted to make this video because as I've been posting more on Facebook, because they actually pay me, I've been seeing more and more of it, and it's driving me insane. Like, I can't scroll 5 minutes without seeing some AI generated content that is someone posting a pattern that doesn't exist, or it's like one of them cringy cartoon character kills of someone knitting. Ew. And why is this? Is this Meta trying to collect more people's data by tricking them into downloading a free knitting pattern? Or is the dead internet theory actually real and everything online is fake? So join me for this interesting deep dive. I say deep dive, it's probably about 20 minutes of me ranting about the AI in the knitting community and crochet community. So first, I want to talk about Facebook groups because it seems to be that Facebook groups are the main kind of where the most of the AI kind of lives. And I have seen so many groups that have been advertised to me that are basically just full of fake bot accounts. Mostly, it seems to be more prevalent within the crochet world, but I've seen a lot of knitting ones as well. Like, there's a knitting group I'm in that's like crochet and knitting, and every post is AI generated. So yeah, it'll just be a profile that's been made, and it'll have like one post on there, and it'll be like the same post over and over again, and the caption will be something like, "This is what my grandma made. Isn't it cool?" And sometimes the post will have like 2,000 likes on it, and it's crazy the amount of people that actually engage with it to see if it's real. And it's not even comments of people being like, AI slop, clankers. It's always like the older demographic that are like, oh my god, please send me the pattern, it's so cute. And I'm not saying that old people always fall for it, but there is a certain demographic that it's clearly aimed towards, which kind of leads me on to my like theory of it being kind of like a mass surveillance or data collection scheme by Meta. Because if you think about it, it's usually going to be the older generation that are most likely going to fall for some sort of like AI generated scam, especially because most of the older demographics seem to believe every AI generated video they see on the internet. And maybe it could be that, but most of the times I've clicked on a few of the links to kind of see where it goes. And it either goes to something like a fake store where every kind of product on there is AI generated, and it'd be like hideous cat mugs that are clearly not real. Or on the other side, it'll just be a dead link. So unless it got taken down, or I don't know, but it's it's crazy because it seems to be like Facebook are deliberately flooding like creators' feeds of these like kind of bot accounts and spam generated content. So they kind of sign up to the like Meta subscription thing where you get better security because I don't know, maybe this increase of spam is going to increase in hacking. Maybe, I don't know, but maybe that's a reason. But it's getting more and more prevalent on Facebook. And I know most young people aren't necessarily active on Facebook and within like Facebook groups because that's seen as like uncool, or I don't know. I mostly go on Meta because it is very good for kind of engaging with a bigger audience. Or it's rough on there. Like, I don't know if anyone's been on Facebook lately, but it is the content that gets like advertised to me is crazy. I watched Grey's Anatomy years ago, like once, and I'm always recommended to join Grey's Anatomy Facebook groups. Why would I want to join a Grey's Anatomy Facebook group? Like, for like Becky, age 32, to share like one meme of like someone from Grey's Anatomy? No, thank you. I'm okay. So next, I want to talk about the ethics of AI within the crafting world. Is it okay to use it? Does anyone actually use AI in their work? Like, if you're designing patterns, do you use it? And will that start to replace people that do like tech editing? Just checking my mic. Will that replace people who are doing tech editing or actually designing patterns? I mean, I've never tried to do this, I promise, but I know that there has been cases where people have just generated a pattern on ChatGPT and then maybe sold it. I don't know. I've not personally seen anyone selling it, but I've heard stories of people doing that. And that in itself, I don't think that's ethical because that's really naughty. And then let's say if someone is designing a pattern and, let's say asking ChatGPT for help, maybe grading it, is that ethical? I personally think not because you're going to have to test it anyway. So, you can't trust ChatGPT 100% because it's going to get things wrong. So if someone does do that, are they going to hire a tech editor? If not, that's obviously taking away from the tech editor. But yeah, I'd be really interested to kind of hear from people on if they use AI within their kind of work, where that kind of goes, or what are the ethics in that? Because if we're having this conversation of environmentalism and within the crafting industry, everyone's using it when I don't see most people are kind of environmentally conscious, but I do see a lot of people that are very like natural fiber only. They don't like working with things like acrylic yarn. So that would be an interesting conversation to have with people to see like who is using it, who's not. I think at a certain point, it's hard not to use it in everyday life because it's so ingrained with everything else. You can't do a Google search now without AI having some sort of presence there, which is annoying. And also because the knitting and crochet community main does have a very big old a very large older demographic, are people from that older demographic using it. I've seen a lot of trends on social media where people will be like, let's turn ourselves into an action figure. Like, does anyone remember that kind of cringy AI thing everybody was doing where they were turning themselves into action figures? Hated it. But anyway, that's not for me to say. If you want to do that, you do it. I don't care. This leads me on to my next point, which is beyond businesses and the role of AI. Because of like growing trends within social media, a lot of businesses are using AI a lot more because it can really help with efficiency. I've worked for companies that use AI every day, in terms of like data and, you know, cleaning up data. Yeah, people use that all the time. But I think in terms of small businesses, is it okay for small businesses to use it because they might not have the time, they may not have the staff to, create content? I've seen a lot of young companies that do use AI in their social media, and that raises some questions for me because, if you are a small business and you are, you know, spouting out the fact that you're very environmentally conscious and you know, you're only using natural fibers because you want to stay natural, or if you're vegan or whatever, I don't know, and then you're using AI, is that considered kind of greenwashing because of all the environmental issues that come out with AI? I don't know. And also, I feel like if you're a small business and you are using AI to kind of create your content and you're not kind of paying someone to kind of create your content, if you're struggling, it's kind of like when, people who are knitting and crocheting, they don't shop at small businesses because it's too expensive and they'll go to Amazon. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of that. And also we have the big young companies that always use AI. That's always a bit icky. And I'm not going to name and shame anyone because you do you. This is just a conversation that I'm having. Um, Big yarn. What you doing, loves? Hire some artists. This is not to say that I'm totally against AI. I just think we should protect our spaces, and it's okay to have AI free spaces. Not every industry and community needs to be solely so impacted by it. I just want to do some knitting. I don't want to, see an AI generated picture of a cat knitting. I don't need to see that. Like, how does this combination of handmade crafts and AI. How does this work in this space? How is it gonna, like, where's it gonna go? Are we going to get to a future where all of our patterns are generated by AI? I hope not, because that would be awful. This one is kind of funny. It's not funny, but it's interesting. So this kind of leads me into my next kind of point I want to talk about is within the kind of handmade community, not just in the crafting and knitting crochet community, is the death of Etsy and the death of small business marketplaces. Etsy was massive. Like for the past like 10 years or so, Etsy was massive. I used to be on Etsy selling stuff and it was great. I loved it. It was, I mean, Etsy does take quite a big commission base. I think they take like, when I did it, I think it was about 10%, but I can't remember. That may be a lie, but this was like 10 years ago. And yeah, now I went on Etsy before to see kind of what the vibe is. I typed in knitting, and this is the kind of stuff I saw, and it's crazy. But I found this person that I'm not going to name and shame, but I am naming and shaming them because their content is all AI generated, and I'm not entirely sure this person is real. So this person is Deirdre's Gift Designs, and every single product is AI generated. And I was curious to see what Etsy's stance on AI is, so I looked it up. And this is what Etsy says. So Etsy says, after carefully considering the complex issues surrounding AI-generated content, we have decided to continue to allow sellers to use their original prompts in combination with AI tools to create the artwork they sell on Etsy. Permitted examples of this might include a fantasy scene based on a seller's original prompt, or inputs produced by an AI generator, or a custom portrait of a buyer's pet generated using AI tools. Sellers must disclose within their listing description if an item is created with the use of AI. Now, every single one of this person's product, not one of them is disclosed as AI. So Etsy clearly aren't really enforcing this, which is an issue because what once was a platform that was solely dedicated to handmade crafts and small businesses has now been overrun by like cheap tat and AI generated gross things that are clearly just being drop shipped from massive warehouses in China. Like, what happened? Like, it's so frustrating. Like, we can't have anything nice. We literally can't. Ultimately, there is not a lot we can do about it other than cry and moan like I'm doing. There's a helicopter. It's not really just Etsy as well. There's an increase in print on demand companies like Printify, I think it's called, that allow people to kind of, upload whatever, and then, when a customer buys the item, they will print it and then ship it to them. So you don't actually have any inventory. And again, that causes issues because people can just very easily upload AI generated content and then ship it. So it's slowly eating away at every kind of sector of the crafting world. And it's just annoying. Like, girl, come on. So without sounding like an absolute technophobe and moaning all the way through this video, I was going to do a section that's like the benefits of AI within the crafting community. And I actually could not think of any. So I'm not going to do that. And I'm just going to end it on a very somber note. So yeah, in a world that's becoming increasingly dark and artificially generated, I think we do need to have AI free spaces. And I think the crafting, crochet, knitting world is one of them. Like between having iPad kids and seeing your high school's best friend's mom painted as someone from Harry Potter in an AI generated image, it's so easy to kind of feel trapped in this like weird dystopian world where like everything is just cringe and cartoony. Like I hate it. I actually can't stand it. It makes me physically ill when I see them post on Facebook. Like because they always act like they're drawing them themselves, and it's like, Stacey, no, close ChatGPT down now. Go and sit in the grass. and have a word with yourself, because that AI picture of you looking like Paris Hilton isn't fooling anyone. Anyway, this is the end of the video. Keep being creative, keep knitting, keep crocheting. Stay off ChatGPT. Oh my god. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. I am hoping to post new videos every week on everything crafting, knitting, basically all of my special interests. So I'm going to force you to watch it with me. I really want to create some long form videos so I can just like talk at you when you knit. So it makes me feel like I've got friends, because I've got no one to talk to. So please engage with this video, and I just want to know that I have friends. So goodbye.